MIFF-y. Ooh, double featured tonight. But the second one finishes at 10:30, and I don't think I can get a video done by midnight and keep the same incredible standard of special effects. It's MIFF-y in a jiffy, bitches! Tonight's double feature began with The Love That Remains, directed by
Hlynur Pálmason.
It's about a family where the mum and the dad, who are an artist and a fisherman respectively, are going through a divorce that they're not sure that they want to go through with. The film is very much not plot driven though, instead being a delicate and beautiful visual poem with shots that reminded me simultaneously of Storm Thorgerson's album covers, Roy Andersson's films, and even the Aussie cult classic Round the Twist. Everything is framed so perfectly from start to finish, but in more of an organic way, like high-level photojournalism rather than Wes Anderson. That being said, it wasn't just bells and whistles. The through line of surreal humour and touching family dynamics made this quite an enthralling watch and almost a cozy one that I'm actually quite keen to do again already. Which is not something I often feel like doing with films of this vibe. If nothing else, watch this film for the dog called Panda, who took out the illustrious Palm Dog Award at Cannes, which I learnt today is a very real thing. The second film of the night was a pseudo-documentary called The Zodiac Killer Project, which I have mixed feelings about. Basically, this British filmmaker Charlie Shackleton wanted to make a heightened true crime doco based on a book by this California Highway Patrol officer who was convinced that he'd found who the Zodiac Killer was during the height of the killings. But then the officer's family decided to pull out of the project last minute and the book rights were no longer available to use. Charlie narrates what his plans were for the documentary over long takes of the California landscape shot on grainy 35mm film, and the end result is so nothing, it's almost something? Look, I've been there. There's nothing worse than getting your hopes up for a project only for everything to fall through at the last minute and then sitting there and desperately wondering how you can salvage what you've done so far. Hell, one day maybe I'll revive Citizen Con, the documentary I partially shot 5 years ago about me trying to run for the Lord Mayor of Perth, but I'm not going to make a feature-length film complaining about how I didn't get to do it. This genuinely would have been a great film if Charlie was able to get the rights to do it, but did his alternative have to be so boring? If you do want a recommendation for a really good true crime hybrid doco, American Animals is one of my all-time favourites and it actually screened at MIFF in 2018.